Shalom. Welcome to A Taste of Torah with Rabbi Carol. This week's Parsha is the fifth Parsha. It means it's the fifth week of reading through the new Torah cycle, and it is titled Chayeh Sarah, which means the life of Sarah. And then we get that from verse 1. Remember, this year I'm looking at the first ailyah. So verse 1 of Genesis Bereshit 23 says, Sarah lived to be 127 years old. These were the years of Sarah's life. So when I read that verse, it made me begin to think about Sarah. And I just jotted down 4 things about her. I thought, what can I remember about her life? And the first thing I thought about was that when Abraham received the call, Sarah, in essence, received it as well. God called Abraham and told him to leave his homeland and his country. Sarah had to do the same thing, which meant she left everything that was familiar to her. She left people that I'm sure she loved very, very much, maybe even some family members, close friends. And she made that decision to follow God just as her husband Abraham did. And I also thought about her travels with Abraham. And there were some touchy situations that Abraham put her into. If you remember, he was a little concerned because Sarah was a very beautiful woman, and he thought someone might kill him and take her for a wife. So he lied about Sarah and said, Sarah is my sister. And Sarah ended up in the bedroom of some strange men because of that. Adonai intervened and saved her, but how do you think she must have felt? That would have been a little hard for me, I have to tell you. I would not have liked that. So that had to be a difficult situation that she walked through, a decision being made for her. And then there was a time where she made a wrong decision herself. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when she said to Abraham, here, you take my maidservant Hagar and let her bear a son for you, because Sarah was getting so old and there was no child in sight. So she said, you take Hagar. And of course, Hagar did bear a son for Abraham, and Sarah didn't take too kindly to that. In fact, her responses to Hagar were not that good. She struggled with it, and so there were some poor decisions that she made in the way she reacted to Hagar. So that wasn't a good season of Sarah's life. And then I also thought about what we read last week and how God said at the appointed time, and how Sarah gave birth to Yitzchak, Isaac. But she was 90 years old. That meant she lived for 90 years as a barren woman. And if you know anything about the ancient world, being a barren woman was not a good thing. It was a stigma against you. And then I went to the New Covenant, and I went to Hebrews, Messianic Jews, chapter 11, verse 11, which says this about Sarah. By faith, even Sarah herself received power to conceive seed when she was past age, since she counted him, God, faithful, who had promised. And it made me think about Sarah. Sarah was a woman of faith. Just like Abraham was a man of faith, Sarah was a woman of faith. She put her hope and trust in God. She made some poor decisions herself. Others made poor decisions that impacted her life, but through it all, she learned to put her focus on God. And I think that's a lesson that we can learn. So whatever is going on in your life, maybe you are facing some difficulties because others around you made decisions that have impacted you personally, your business, your family, or maybe you made your own poor decisions and now you're facing this big mess and you don't know what to do about it. I want to encourage you to put your faith in God. Be a woman and man of faith and say, God, I trust you, that even in the midst of things that are not going right, whether you did it yourself or someone caused it to happen, I trust you, God, that you will make a way where there seems to be no way. And I want you to know that he will, that he is faithful. And Sarah knew that God was faithful, and you too can know that. So have a blessed evening. If you are here on Long Island, I hope we will see you at Beth Emanuel this Saturday at 11 a.m. And if you're not here, you can still join us as we stream live here on YouTube or our Facebook channel. So God bless you.